Then new symphony, new orchestra, is that right?
Well, it's not an entirely new orchestra. About half of them are new. Yeah, we actually premiered this piece in Boston in the spring, and then I went about to rewrite it. And it's about, most of the piece is new, but it's the same group that played it in Boston. And most of the people have been with me for about 3 years.
I thought first it is a little bit of Wagner, and then later I thought it's Mozart. But what was the whole idea of this symphony?
Oh, Wagner and Mozart, you're absolutely right. Right on the nose. Incredibly perceptive. Well, I wasn't thinking about any. Well, I thought I did think about a little bit of Mozart. If you want to know, yeah, that is very perceptive. But I was trying to work with rhythm more than I've worked in some of the recent pieces. And you may or may not have noticed I'm not working with the harmonic series in this piece. So
no, I didn't recognize it.
Right. Yeah, I know. You can't really tell the difference. And that's one of the things that's different about the piece. So it's the first time I've done a piece for the group that wasn't tuned in the harmonic series since the Symphony No. 2. And what I was trying to do with this piece was to extend some of the compositional ideas I had been working on before I started working with the harmonic series as a tuning system. When I started working with the harmonic series, it was really a matter of trying to practically invent an entire compositional system from scratch. So many of the pieces that I wrote were kind of demonstrations or exercises based on the kind of work I was doing with the harmonic series as a compositional system, and I had to drop many of the kind of the compositional ideas I was working on at the time because it was too much to try to do both. So now I really wanted to try working with just some strictly compositional things. So that's kind of what we're doing with this.
Glenn, what is the pleasure of directing an orchestra?
Well, it can be fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not pleasurable. I'm not particularly interested in directing the orchestra, and I'm not particularly interested in being a conductor. I mean, I do it because I have to do it. And in some cases, I would really rather somebody else did it. It's not what I'm really doing. I'm strictly interested in the composition. The only reason I'm out there is because I want it to sound like it's written. Tonight, I actually did try to enjoy myself a little bit, but that didn't necessarily mean that the piece was any better than it's been the last few nights.
And when I play with you, and I feel a little bit like revolutionary. I think you're a good musician, but you put me a little bit too much in a restrict thing. What happened with a musician like me?
Oh, I see. Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not particularly worried about that. I mean, that's certainly a problem which I don't think too many people are ready to confront at this point. I mean, maybe in 150 years, I think I might have to really give some serious thought to that question, but right now, it's kind of absurd to ask such a question, I think.
Okay. Glenn, the analogy between your music and your drawing, perhaps you can say something about that. Has it something to do with the hypertones, is that word?
Well, the truth is there's not really as much relationship between the drawings and the music as many people like to believe. I mean, if you're a musician and you make drawings, then the drawings somehow have to do with the music. I mean, the reason why the drawings exist is because the kind of graphics and score ideas that I was working on with the harmonic series began to develop way beyond what I could represent musically. And I became interested in continuing to develop some of these visual ideas that had no relationship whatsoever to the music. If I restricted those ideas entirely to the music, then they wouldn't exist at all, because those ideas can't, 9 out of 10 of the drawings can't possibly be in any way represented as a piece of music, and were never intended to. It was...
So it's not like I saw some of the partitures, it's not like that you make your partitures as beautiful designs or so. It's more like you work with
I'm missing this word. The word you're saying?
partiture?
Score.
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 Your scores don't look like beautiful drawings. Am I right?
Well, the actual scores, no. Most of the actual scores are written in longhand with a little kind of strange notation.
Yes.
No. They don't look at all like a drawing.
You're not jealous of those old musicians who really make some kind of beautiful scores with their...
Well, sure. It would be nice if they looked beautiful. They don't. They look ugly. They look horrible.
Glenn, what is your relation with classical music? Can you tell something about it?
Very sexy, believe me.
Sorry?
They'll hear it.
Okay. There's not so big relationship with classical music. Is that because you're an American from New York, or?
No. There's many kinds of music I love to listen to. Some of it is classical music, but as far as my music is concerned, when I say my music has no relation to it, I'm also referring to the fact that the classical music world, for instance, for the most part, has absolutely no interest in my music. I mean, their interest is probably equal to the amount of interest coming from the commercial music world. So my relationship is not great.
They don't recognize you as a colleague. No. They don't.
I think I'm thought of as a kind of refreshing primitive.
Mm-hmm. And you feel yourself like that, or?
No. I do the same thing they do. Just sounds different.
Do you listen to your own music as a kind of, can you, let's say, verbalize it in visual ideas, or is it difficult for you? Like what I heard tonight, can
I explain what you heard tonight?
Like in a visual experience, or is it?
I'm not sure what you heard tonight. Some people just hear pure noise.
Yeah.
Some people hear a drone. Other people begin to hallucinate.
Yeah.
It varies to the extreme no matter what the concert sounds like. It varies to the extreme. No matter what I hear, that's part of the idea of the music. It's not meant to be anything absolutely specific. And it's still interesting on that level. I mean, people still haven't pinned it down exactly as far as what it is they're supposed to be hearing and what the actual music is. And, that's what makes it possible for some people, anyway, to begin to hear things which they might not believe they're actually hearing.
Then you don't want to write for a human voice, a song, or?
I used to write some songs.
You did?
Yeah, sure. I had a couple bands. You know, I wrote a lot of songs. A lot of. I used to do a lot of singing.
Yeah, but I mean in the classical sense, like a woman or so, just to make something for her. Or...
A song cycle or something like that. I thought about that. I actually like the form of the acoustic piano and one singer. It's very naked and it's a very nice piece of theater. I mean, I've thought about a few texts. Actually, there's a text called Thesis on Living for the Younger Generation by Rabotnik that I thought set into music in that particular style.
Glenn, what happened with your score for the new Peter Granaway?
What happened to it?
Yeah.
Most of it is sitting on a piece of paper unrecorded.
Yeah.
He only used a few minutes of my music.
And you're happy with that, or?
I'm not thinking.
You saw the film?
I saw the film. It's a nice film, but it's not what the script, what was in the script, which is it was a real pity. It was a brilliant script.
Yeah. It's in Rome. It's about Boulez, the architect.
If you haven't seen the script, there's no way you can know what that film is about, I'm afraid to say. I mean, I love Greenaway's work, but he knows that too.
Yeah.
More? Less? More?
I don't know, perhaps you have something that I didn't ask you, like...
I'm not going to ask myself questions.
Like what tonight, I wanted to know what your feeling with music, how you... Like, we can only see you directing an orchestra, but there must be more than only that. And let's say the body-line experiment you make in front of the public.
Oh, well, you see, I mean, if you had seen us the night before last, you wouldn't have seen what you saw tonight.
Paris.
In Paris, yeah, I moved very little. And you certainly wouldn't have seen what you saw in the last movement tonight. It sounded different tonight. And I have a vague idea in my mind what thematically I'm trying to do it. It's the least important part of the work, the music. And it's only when I get up on stage, the music is completely written, it's completely rehearsed, basically it's finished, that I then begin to discover, or to think about some of the other levels, you know, the actual performance, what's physically happening in the audience, what's physically happening in the music. It's interesting for me to move with the music because it does affect how it sounds, but it's not something I want to really continue to do. Tonight was an exception. I decided to enjoy myself a little bit and fool around and do things that might be considered somewhat embarrassing and still enjoy it. And so I like to fuck around, you know.
Okay. Okay, you come with the same program as Andy Warhol. Perhaps you can...
Same program as Andy Warhol.
Yeah, you have any relation? I know you have one relationship. It's John Jono.
Uh-huh.
He was in the protagonist of Sleep, and you made an...
And a record with him, yeah.
With him. Do you have any other...
Ideas about Warhol?
Yeah.
Not
really.
No, definitely not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ken.
Thank you.